Guys, welcome back. It's the Dr. Cloud Show, and hopefully, you know where you are because hopefully you're part of our listening family. Or if you're not, that means you're a new listener, which means somebody's probably shared the program with you. And we are glad you are here as well to join us. This is a show where we try to build a community of people that are in the fight, fighting dysfunction and fighting all the stuff that gets in the way of our lives working mostly, well, not all the time. I was going to say mostly coming between our own ears. But that's not true. I mean, bad stuff happens, right, from the outside that causes all that noise between our ears. But it is kind of a fight to get the crap out of our heads, right, that's interfering with getting from here to there. And getting from here to there is kind of what we like to talk about here because there are some here's that aren't that great. The here, where you are today, sometimes is a really crummy place in one of the three big arenas we talk about. Clinically, you may feel like not good, depression, anxiety, burnout, stress. Or relationally, there may be a relationship that's sideways or stalled or even painful. Or in the performance side of life, reaching goals, feel like you're kind of stuck and want to do something and isn't working somehow. All of those descriptions are what I call a here that I don't like. I'm here, but I want to be there. I want to be there in this relationship. I don't want to be here. I want to be there. And I can see the there. And that's a vision. And we talk here in this show every day about some steps to get there. And so we are glad that you have joined us. Let me give you the phone number where you can call us 844-940-2774. 844-940-2774 is the number to get on the air during this hour because we're live. You can call and you become the topic and you become the show. And so that's how to get on 844-940-2774. And then it stays here posted for 24 hours or actually longer than that. We load a new one each day. Or you can go to boundaries.me podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts, iTunes or whatever platform. Boundaries.me podcast is a reposting of the show as well. Okay, so that's it. Now, in the beginning of the program, what we normally do is I talk about some idea that has come up in my work or something I'm reading or thinking about. Today, what I thought I would visit for a moment is feelings. Nothing more than feeling. Remember that song? Some of you are not even close to old enough to remember that song. But anyway, it was a song about feelings. I don't even remember the words. But let's talk about your feelings. All right, let's talk about your feelings. What the heck is a feeling? And what are we supposed to do with it? Does it have a purpose? Are there good feelings and bad feelings? Or feelings just are? Are there moral implications or ethical implications to our feelings, as well as our behaviors and our actions? And then, how are they supposed to guide us through life? Do we pay attention to them? Are they believable? Well, all of those questions go into this topic. In fact, on boundaries.me, there's a lot. If you go to that platform, boundaries.me, go to that website and become a subscriber. There's a lot on there about feelings. But I want to take a few minutes and just leave you with one idea about feelings. And that is this: feelings are basically, they're not only, but basically they and I can't say only about this either, but they have a purpose. And the purpose is that our feelings are a signal of our state of being. They tell us about our state of being. You know, am I in a good place right now? Am I with somebody that I feel good being with, that it is good to be with? Am I looking forward to something that is going to bring some kind of meaning or purpose or some value? Is somebody hurting me in some way right now? Are they transgressing against me? Are they violating me? Do I feel like I am able to do what I've got on my schedule this afternoon, or what I am being asked to step up and do? Do I feel confident? See, what feelings do is it's like a little bit, this is one of the things they do. They actually also are the experience of all of those realities. I mean, basically we do, if you're Dr. Spock or Mr. Spock or Dr. Spock, who has no feelings, right? Well, then if you're having a great day, what's the point? I mean, so what? You can't enjoy it. Well, you check off the box, great day today. No, your feelings are also how you experience the realities in which you find yourself, but they're also a signal to help you know that you're in one of those realities. One of the worst conditions we can have, sometimes are neurological conditions, where you lose the ability to feel pain. And then you get infections and limbs, leprosy is akin to that. We need our feelings, even though they can be painful, because they tell us how we're doing. All right. So, what do we do? Well, let's just pick one feeling. How about anger? Okay. You hear a lot about anger. And there's misnomers about feelings. Feelings are not just this quantitative, like, bag of BBs that they're quantitatively, and you stuff them and then stuff them and stuff them and stuff them and stuff them. And then one day I got to get the BBs out, right? Take the bag and dump it. And now I'm free of all the BBs. I'm free of I got to get the anger out. Well, if just expressing anger were the answer, then violence would be a cure, right? Or terrorist activities would be a cure. It expression doesn't necessarily make anger go away. In fact, there's a lot of ways and a lot of research, and it's probably experienced it. Sometimes the expression of anger actually fuels it and makes it get bigger. So it's not feelings aren't this kind of like like entity that sits there, even though they are an entity that sit there. But what I mean by it, it's not like a bucket. Okay. Here's what's important to remember. You are an organism. Okay. You're a machine. You're a piece of equipment. And I am a piece of equipment. And we are generating feelings all the time. Okay. It's an active process. Now, there is truth to there are feelings and trauma states and all that do kind of get lumped together and sit there like the BBs. But it's not true that we can only just kind of toss those into the trash and be done with them, because things have to change in our personhood to where we are not just carrying around a lot of problematic feelings like anger or something else, but we're not carrying around and living life. And here's the key: in the state of being that is creating those feelings day after day after day after day after day, day after day after day after day after day. That's why, for example, talk about boundaries and anger. You probably heard me say at some point, if you've listened to me talk about boundaries much, is that in anger, generally the least angry people you'll ever meet are the people with very clear boundaries. And what's there to be angry about? If you can't be manipulated, if you can't be used and abused, if you can't be controlled, people say so and so is so controlling. Well, they're controlling because you're being controlled, because you're allowing them to control you, and you're angry about it. Okay, that anger is important. It is a signal, back to our premise, it is a signal that tells you I am being controlled by this person's wishes. Okay, now here's the big takeaway for today: use the signal to do something to change your state of being that's creating that feeling. See, your anger tells you something's wrong. Something's wrong. This person's manipulating me. Okay, well, use your anger. What do you do with it? Go blow up and express anything? It's not going to stop the manipulation. What'll stop it is I use that feeling and say, you know what, I'm angry about this. I don't like being angry about this. So I don't want to be angry about it. How can I not be angry about it? Well, I need to talk to them and tell them, you know what, I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm not, when they put the guilt trip on me, I'm not going to do that, or whatever it is. And then I've stopped being manipulated. So what happens to my anger? Well, what's there to be angry about? Unless you're unforgiving and holding a grudge about beforehand. And that's usually what, good conversations can solve. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to start thinking about your feelings as telling you something. They are there to tell you something. Sometimes we feel bored. Hopefully not for long. I remember my kids would come to me and say, Dad, I'm bored. I'd say, well, you're responsible for your own fun. Go find some, but go make some. But the boredom tells them what? It's a signal. You know what? I'm not being active enough about my life. I'm not making meaning. I'm not making fun. I'm not making purpose. This universe around us is so filled to the brim of things to be curious about and engaged in. Good night. There are enough hours in the day. Think about that. I mean, just walk in the yard and get mesmerized by how the heck does this leaf work? I gotta go look this up. Or look in the eyes of a child and see their mood and start to play with them and watch what happens. Or write a letter, an email to a friend, share something that you're grateful for, or start a new project. I mean, but see, the boredom will lead you there, or the emptiness might lead you there. I feel empty. Well, what does that mean? Well, generally, emptiness is an absence of loving feelings. It's where we don't feel connected, where we're generating feelings of loving and being loved. Well, sometimes our emptiness might tell us that we're detached and we've unplugged a little bit. So, obviously, we don't have all day on this. Go to boundaries.me and you'll find a lot related to this. Look up the website boundaries.me. But use your feelings, guys. Don't render them to something unimportant. Now that doesn't mean you live your life by your feelings. I mean, it could be the pizza you ate last night too. Or it could be your thyroid. It could be a million things, but we have to listen to our feelings and we have to honor them and we have to become friends with them and we need to sometimes express them and work through them, getting the BBs out, but also changing whatever's producing the BBs. And that's called working through, metabolizing, resolving, processing, expressing, understanding. A lot that goes into this feeling world. But feelings are basically also, this isn't right, so don't send me an email, but feelings are also kind of what make life alive and worth living. Can't say that. That's not true, but feels like it sometimes, right? I mean, when you experience that moment of closeness to somebody you love or a desire accomplished, as Proverbs says, it's sweet to the soul. You finish that project or the exhilaration of taking that risk and skydiving, jumping out of that plane. What do I feel? I feel terrorized. I am alive. It's awesome. Remember the first time I jumped out of an airplane? I was alive, Bubba. I'm not kidding. I was alive. I knew it that day. If I've doubted it since, I can go back to that day. So feelings are awesome and feelings are painful. Make sure you're using them as a signal to let you know what you need to resolve. Okay? 844-940-2774. Oh, and by the way, pay attention to the feelings of the people you're around. That's called emotional intelligence. Okay? The most successful people in life are not only tuned into their own feelings, but they're also tuned into the feelings around them. and they're able to intuitively and otherwise in other ways realize what somebody's feeling and then enter into that appropriately, either to help or to something. So it's not just us. 844-940-2774 is our number. Let's go to the phones and talk to Demi, who's calling us from Chicago. Demi, welcome to the program.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm pretty well today, thank you. How can I help you?
Oh, good. Well, I am a hopeless empath, and I'm not ashamed of
Wait
it
a minute.
anymore.
Say it again. You're a hopeless what?
Empath.
Oh, empath. I thought that you said you were at a hopeless impasse. So, well, then I just need to talk about my struggles, and you'll fly out here to LA and fix me, right?
I will. I'm all
let
ears.
me tell you
I'm
how
a great
bad it is.
listener.
Demi, I was up all night. I couldn't get my knee to stop hurting, and then I came down the stairs, and then my dog jumped up on me and ruined my shirt. And Demi, it's a bad
well. There's a silver lining behind all of that. If you have some time, I can help you out.
Oh, okay. I'm
listening. See,
Yeah.
It means that your dog loves you, and in spite of your knee pain, your dog loves you. So there's your silver lining.
Oh my gosh!
Did I make you feel better?
I feel so different, Demi. I have hope now, Demi.
Good.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna put you on hold. Just go hug my dog. She's around here somewhere. All right. So you're a hopeless empath, and what that means for people who don't know what that means, you empathize with people, right? You care about how they feel, but sometimes that gets you in trouble, doesn't it? Right?
Yes, it does, and it's been a lifelong struggle. However, I just try and forge ahead because what's your other choice? So anyway, so we all have a lot of struggles.
There are other choices, but go ahead. Tell me your question.
Okay, so it's gotten me into a lot of trouble. I just I bend over backwards, and it can get you into trouble a lot. But here's my question, and you could probably spend a whole hour on this. All right, I've been separated for a very long time. I've been divorced for almost 2 years. And I have an ex-boyfriend, and
now wait a minute. You've been separated. You said separated, and then which came first? I was separated
from my husband for a very long time, and then we eventually got divorced. We couldn't fit the divorce in. We couldn't fit the divorce in because one of our sons was dying. So, but that was all rectified. So we finally got divorced, and I was dating someone, and it's just like it always seems to work out. Well, often with relationships, he found someone else who is a shinier object, but he always calls me, and like I'm his soulmate. And because I'm an empath, it's hard to say no. Well, I finally cut him off, but recently we reconnected. He's broken up.
Now wait a minute.
His
Stop.
girlfriend.
Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Now, when he would call you and tell you you're his soulmate, was he still with the shiny object?
Yes, but they would keep breaking up. He'd keep breaking up with her. I was kind of like his counselor because
he'd go out on the playground, skin his knees, and he'd run home to mama.
Right.
He's a dependent little boy, right?
Well, there's not a lot of emotional intelligence there, which I've found to be very. That's a common thing with a lot of people.
Wait a minute, Demi. Demi.
Did I just insult somebody? I'm sorry.
No, you're already being empathic before anybody's hurt. Listen, when you said, do the math. Okay, what you said was this is hilarious. You said he's like got these emotional issues. He's dependent. I said he runs home to mama. You said he's not very intelligent, and you said, and that's very, very common with a lot of people. Demi, that is 100% common with over empathic people that rescue.
Yes, I am rescuing. I am a rescuer.
Exactly.
Yes,
so
I totally agree.
I understand. So here's what I want you to realize when you say there's so many people out there like him. Well, of course there is. If you're a rescuer, if I'm in the Coast Guard, what do I need to have a fulfilling day? I need a shipwreck. If I'm in the Coast Guard,
So
that's what I'm there for. So as long as you have rescuing patterns, you're going to attract and be attracted to little boys that want to run home to mama.
and that's exactly who I attract. It's
Of course.
just classic. And I know that I've done a lot of work on it. And I know I am an enabler. I know this. I know this about myself. And
okay, so
I'm
he
going to
he
probably have to
runs to
work on it.
you.
So now he's in a lot of pain, and it's very hard for someone like me to watch somebody who's in a lot of pain. And
What
I
does his
also am
pain
one of those
sound like?
well, his pain is, I mean, he's just reiterating what I've told him. He's been with her for a few years, that he knows that she's narcissistic in her actions.
He's calling you to process her?
Yeah.
How much are you charging for this service?
I know. I really should start charging because it takes up a lot of time.
I do.
Wait till you hear my
want to
question.
come process their relationships with me, I charge them.
Wait till you hear my question.
All right. So give me a question. Give me a question.
All right. Here's my question. It's a very sad question. So I've been telling him for years, I said, you are in her web. You need to run. And it's hard for him, but he knows that he's, so I said, she's got you in her tentacles, and you need to just leave, just end it, go through the grieving process and just go through it. So my question to you, and by
First
the way,
of all,
I would,
okay, but I just want to coach you on one little phrase. He does not need to leave. When you say you need to leave, no, he doesn't. It would be great if he did.
What do you?
But obviously, he feels no need to leave. That's why he's there.
Well, they just kind of ended it, but they've done this many times. But
I know,
he really doesn't want.
Hang on. Stop for a second. Listen. He doesn't need to leave as long as he can hang on and be in the tentacles and experience this back and forth angst and be comforted by mama over here, right? There's no need to make a change. He's got both sides of everything taken care of in this totally dysfunctional cycle. But if when he ran home to mama, mama said, you know what? I don't know. I've talked to you about this before, but you're going to have to figure it out. And so, send me a postcard and tell me how it happens. Dial tone. Then all of a sudden he'd be sitting there and go, crap, I need to do something about this. But he doesn't need to right now because he's being enabled to stay stuck.
Well, actually, that's exactly what I did with him. Probably about 4 months ago, I said, we have this amazing connection, but do not call me until you have left her for good. Because all you're going to get is stop. Okay.
What is this amazing connection?
We are pretty much soulmates. Like there is this,
soulmates?
You see it in a lot of, we are soulmates. We are like connected. We are spiritually connected for life. And there is a love between the two of us. And it's just we can't put it into a relationship either. I couldn't offer him anything. I wasn't divorced at the time, so I couldn't offer him a relationship or anything.
But Demi, help me here.
Okay.
Can you see your screen?
Now, don't get frustrated. Let me try and help you. Go ahead.
Okay, help me here. How can I say somebody is my soulmate when they treat my soul like an ATM? He's not making any
excellent
deposit.
Way of putting it.
It really is. I'm going to have to write that down. It's seriously.
That is very good. That is very good.
It's not a soulmate. A soulmate brings riches to you and deposits them in your soul. That's what a soulmate part of what they do. He keeps longing going, makes minimal payments on the credit card.
Gosh, I should write this down.
You can go back and play it later. It'll be sitting here. So, all right. So okay, I interrupted you, but I just had to throw up on this soulmate thing. So
no, that's okay. I think
what's the question?
What's the question? My question, you'll probably hang up on me, is now this is coming from an empath. So being a rescuer and knowing that he means at this time, you know, they're done, you know, blah, blah, blah. And so he means it this time, and she means it. Like, they just have realized that. And I mean, I could tell him the first week that it wasn't going to work, because he goes for shiny object women. You know, nice, kind people like me are boring. So the question
now, wait a minute. He's just talking. He's just, what do you mean he goes for shiny objects, not people like me? What's a people like you?
Someone like me, by the way, I would consider myself to be attractive, but I'm not like the most beautiful person in the world. But anyway, she is 20 years younger and attractive, blah, blah, blah. You know, the whole story that happens all the time with men, older men and younger women. They need a trophy wife to make them feel better. And that's what she does, or that's what she did in the beginning. But now the honeymoon is over. Everything's over.
Well,
and
it looks like sometimes they need a trophy wife to make them look better. But oftentimes, really what's going on is they have a deep characterological split between their real needs and narcissism, and the triangulated split off portion of not being able to bring love and sexuality together with the same object. Now it ends up looking like trophy wife, but that's more the ideology a lot of times of what you see. But anyway, I get the picture. So
so
what's the
more
question?
Thing, just one more thing. He is her cash cow. Like, she has no money, he has a lot of money. So she wants to keep him in the mix and, you know, make him her errand boy. And anyway, the question is this. Now that you know how troubled I am, my question is this. Being a caring person and having much difficulty watching people be in pain, what can I do besides never talking to him again, which is what you'll probably say? What can I do to help him to not just be done with her, but to successfully release himself from this stranglehold that this person has had on him? Because, you know, once you break up, I mean, there's a grieving process. It can take months or even years. And I just don't know, like, do I throw some books at him? Do I tell him about your boundaries, about me? Do I not speak to him? Am I being helpful? I am one of those people.
What is your desire? What is your desire?
My desire is to see him successfully leave this very unhealthy relationship, which, by the way, he's done this with 2 other wives. He's not married to this woman, but he's done it. And, you know, I said, you might as well just go and remarry your second wife. I mean, this is just her.
Okay, what is your desire? What is your desire?
My desire is that he successfully gets released from this relationship so that he can go on and live a fulfilling life. And find someone.
Without you.
Without me. I mean, you know, I can't imagine picking up that many pieces. I just can't even imagine picking up that many pieces. You know, I just don't think that he is.
Are you telling me that if he came to you today and said, you know what, I got out of this thing, it was crazy, she's a bimbo, I realized the depth that we have and the soul connection we have is what I really want, and I want to be with you, would you send him on?
So this is what I would say. I would say, be alone with yourself give yourself some time to reacquaint yourself with yourself. Go through the hard work of relearning who you are and learn how to love yourself. Then call me. Then we'll get together and let me see who you are on the other end. That's what I would say. Because I don't want to be with someone who's not emotionally healthy. You might think I'm not because I'm an enabler, and to a great extent, I'm always going to have to work on that. Well, I'm just saying that people might think, well, this woman is like nuts, but I have worked on it for a very long time.
All right. So if your desire is for him to have a nice life, that's all you care about.
That's the biggest thing I care about. I would love to see him someday, but I just don't think it's in the cards. I'm just being realistic. But of course, I'm always going to have.
Yeah, as long as that little hook is there, you better be careful because you can get hooked back in. But if what you said is your main thing, here's what I would say. I go, Joey, you know what? I've been listening to this for a long time, and I'm going to talk about me for a second here, Joey. I thought for a while it would be you and me. And then, we went back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And then I came to a realization, Joey. And this realization is going to end up being good for you if you'll listen.
Mm-hmm.
I came to no, I'm talking to Joey here. Okay.
I know. Uh-huh.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I came to the realization that I wouldn't want a relationship with you because you really don't have the ability to sustain love for one person that brings everything to the relationship that you want. You're always kind of looking or doing their part. You got this part and that part and this part with me, that part with her, all that. And I just don't want to be with somebody like that. Okay. But see, that tells me something. That tells me something about you, that I think you would do well if you want to have a nice life. You are not going to solve this by going and finding the next new shiny object or the next new mama, which is how you relate to me. You kind of depend on me. You're emotionally dependent with me. You run to me when you're hurting, but you don't bring an adult man relationship to me. Okay. I think before you go hop into another one and live out that same pattern again, I think that it would serve you well if you went and got with a very good therapist about 2 or 3 times a week, since you can afford it, you have the time and you have the pain to motivate it. And I think you should camp out there for a while and figure this out. Okay. Or you could go do it again, but whichever way, don't call me for help because I'm done. That's what I would say.
So you think I should just not, you should think I should just not even talk to him again?
Well, it depends on what you want. You could spend the rest of your life.
I do.
You could spend the rest of your life. It's whatever you want. We should. I don't know what should
means.
I
do. I do enjoy our connection, okay. But he's not enough for me because I need somebody who's whole, and he's not whole. And he could get whole, but he's. I don't think he's going to put the work in the 2 to 3 times a week.
So what do you? So I'm going to ask you again. What do you want? Do you want to talk to somebody? Okay. Do you want to talk to somebody that's not whole and can't do it for you, but is a halfway, and you waste 3 or 4 more years and stay hung up? Or do you want to move on down the road? It's up to you. So I can't tell you you should until I know your goal. You want to waste more time with Joey?
You're talking to me now, not him.
Yeah, I'm talking to you now.
Oh, okay.
If you want to waste more time with Joey, then keep doing it.
Well, by the way, just so you know, I have had other acquaintances since him, but so it's not like I'm waiting. I'm not waiting for him. I don't want you to think that I'm not waiting for him. I'm just trying to figure out how I can help him. And you sound
that way. You sound that way until you don't. Because I'll say, I told you how to help him. I said, send him on the road. And you go, yeah, but I still want to connect with him. I enjoy. So it's not just wanting to help him. You have a desire for him at some level, even if it's a smidgen, and you've got to deal with that. If you want to have that
Yeah.
partial high carb, you know, sugar high for 15 minutes and then crash and never get anything out of it and do that for years, you can do that. But I'm just
This has
pointing
been
it out
really
to you
helpful.
that you've got it. You do have that hook. And so either
You're
you're
right.
going to have to grieve and get rid of that hook, or I'll say it again, you will waste more time. And when you come back and say, well, there have been other people, absolutely, but you weren't fully available to them or for them either, right? Because there's still some parking space in your head that Joey still has.
You're so smart. That's why you're doing this and I'm not. You're absolutely right. I really do think you've nailed it. I really
Just go
do.
think about that. And it's all about what you want. Every person has got to figure out what they want. And many, many times they are living what they want and they say they don't like it. But what they want is incompatible wishes. And so they're living out both of them and they don't get fulfilled neither one. But that is what they want. They want to have both and you can't have both. So they have both and you can't have either one. So I'm
I
just
like
trying
that.
to get
Incompatible wishes.
incompatible. Good. Yeah.
Incompatible wishes.
Incompatible wishes. Okay.
That's
I got to
really
run.
good.
We talked a long time because you're so you're fun to talk to and you got a good question here a lot of people can relate to. And
I
gosh,
hope
I hope
so.
Joey
I
finds a
hope
good
so.
therapist. And I would have him, if I were coaching him, I'd say, when you're interviewing therapists, find one who has really, really, really good training in psychodynamic object relations. That's what I would tell him. I would say, if you're going to find a therapist for this problem, that's the route I would want somebody to be able to know. Okay.
Well,
Thanks for your.
Thank you so much for your wisdom.
Whoops. I'm sorry. We lost you right in the middle of saying goodbye. Okay. Demi, I hope you can hear me and good luck to you. Let's go back to the phone. Gosh, I don't even, I kind of want to talk about Demi for a minute though, guys. There's so much to learn there for all of us, unfinished business that we drag forward into even years, right? Sometimes it's good to do some spring cleaning in your head. I wrote a book called Necessary Endings: When to Give Up Hope, When to Cut Loose, When to Cut Bait. I was growing up in Mississippi, did a lot of fishing, do a lot of fishing now in California. Sometimes you just have to cut bait, crank up the boat, go to another fishing spot. They're not biting here, or they're not even here. Sometimes you got to cut bait. All right, Jennifer, calling us from New Jersey. Welcome to the program, Jennifer.
Hi, Dr. Cloud. Thank you for having me.
You're very, very welcome. How can I help you?
So first of all, thank you so much for you and all your resources and your wisdom, because you've helped me so much in the past couple of years. I can't even explain. So it's an honor to speak to you. So I'm giving you a little bit of context before oh, thanks. So I'm going to give a little bit of context. My mom is 70. She just recently got diagnosed with chronic pancreatitis. So it's not cancer where there's imminent life-threatening, death around the corner. It's not that serious, but it is a serious illness. It's not considered to have a cure for it. And so it needs to be treated. If not, it can progressively keep getting worse. And so when I told her what was going on, the doctor spoke to me and I spoke to her. I translated for her. She basically, her answer was, well, I know why this is happening because my end is near. And so very like a defeatist attitude. And so I'm a fighter, and that's the complete opposite of what I would do in that situation. And so I was frustrated. Just the thought of losing my mom to losing her, of her dying, makes me want to cry. I know there's a little codependency there, but it really is painful just to even think about it and to see that she doesn't even want to fight? Like, in other words, where's the fight of this woman of faith? She's been such a woman of faith. Why are you so defeatist? Like, you've just embodied this. And
so she was fine. She was fine until the you said pancreatitis, right?
Yes, it's called chronic pancreatitis. And so there's so much damage to the pancreas that it's not functioning the way it should. And so there are some things that can be done. However, it doesn't have a cure. And so it can cut years off of your life. She said, she's been talking about death for a year, almost like preparing us. It's been the weirdest thing to just listen to her.
Okay.
And so the fact that that was her response.
But when you say she's been talking about it, you mean after she got sick?
So she's been having these symptoms for several years now. I'm going to say maybe 5 or 10 years she's been having these symptoms, and they've gotten progressively worse. And so finally we've done extensive testing and we have a diagnosis. So I don't know how long.
What I'm asking, here's what I'm asking. You said it's not like her, to give up. I'm saying, did the change in her personality, is that strictly related to the sickness? Or was she,
right? So,
was something else? Did she start to change before that?
So in times I've called her a woman. She's been such a woman of faith in so many realms. My father was a pastor, and so she was that pastor's wife that was beside him, and every prayer in church she was there. And so she's a fighter in faith that way, but she's also a worrier. So like any little thing that happens to one of her kids or her grandchildren, she also worries tremendously, to the point where we can't even tell her things sometimes. We have to kind of let it pass and then tell her that it happened.
Has she had a psychiatric consult?
Not recently, no.
Okay, that's what I would do. She sounds at least depressed, and especially when you put the worry thing in it, sometimes some kinds of depression kind of have an obsessional component to it, and especially she's had a lot of loss, obviously, with her health.
Yeah.
And sometimes you see the absence of a future and the absence of motivation, and the anhedonia is what it's called, where she can't derive pleasure from anything in life, and nothing that used to give her pleasure gives her pleasure. She's also lost purpose because she can't do the helping things that she did for a long time, and serving in the church and all that. So I would really, really, really want a psychiatrist to evaluate her. If she may be, sometimes, I've seen sometimes when the depression gets treated, I've seen people just really turn around and they get to fight back, and it amazes you. I don't know if that's all that's wrong, but that's what I would do. I'd get a good psychiatrist in the mix, and maybe I was going to say geriatric, but it does, a good psychiatrist. That is exactly what I would do, like today.
Right.
Okay.
That makes sense.
All right. You gotta make sure if she's depressed, that's being treated. Okay, go fast.
Yeah. How my role now, because that's the first thing I definitely want to do, is support her with a psychiatrist. However, how do I, because I can't seem to connect, because I'm so opposite in that realm of thinking. How can I support her during this time, and even be an influence if I feel like I can't even connect to her and I'm frustrated because she's taken on this?
Yeah. Do you remember when Jethro came to Moses and said, "Moses, you're going to wear yourself out. You need to get some other people, and I'm going to take the spirit that the spirit that was on Moses and distribute it in some other people to help out here." She needs a few things, but the psychiatrist is first, because she may need some medicine and other kind of complications with the depression. But once you do that, what I would want her, I would want to look at how do we build a support community around her that has some structure to it. Because right now, if you're kind of holding her up emotionally, and really you can't even do that because it's too big, there's going to be some things that she needs to learn about coping with a chronic illness, for example. There are really good groups that help people to do that. There's a lot of stuff she needs, but I I would start to think about what would the pieces of the and the hospital, the doctor could be able to help you with this that she's seeing. I'm sure that there are. I mean, especially where do you live? It just as a state. If you're near some metropolis, there's going to be through the hospital, all sorts of support groups and things for this as well. So that's what I would do. And in terms of you relating to her specifically, in your question, I would empathize. I'd say, Mom, it is hard, and I can see why you're giving up hope. But I've come up with some steps I think that we can take, and all I want you to do is agree to go with me, okay? And then just engage her in the process. And just empathize with the way you feel, or she would empathize with the way she feels. You can empathize but not agree, okay? And you don't even have to say, I don't agree. Yeah, Mom, I can see why it feels that way. Well, why don't we go do this? Why don't we go try this? Why don't we go do this? And so you empathize and redirect her into the activities that are going to help bring her out of this.
Makes sense.
Okay. And God bless you for taking care of your mother. We need
Thank
everybody. Why can't we take care of our own a lot of times, and so important. So thank you for being a model to lots of people. Appreciate your call. This is the Dr. Cloud Show. 844-940-2774 is the number. Let's go back to the phones and talk to Mauricio.
It's Mauricio.
I don't know how to spell. Mauricio, welcome to the show.
Yes, thank you.
How can I help you?
Well, sure. Actually, I've been listening to your show, and you give really good insights, and that's why I decided to call you. Now, I guess to my situation here, I've been dating my neighbor who is going through a divorce. So I've known her for a couple of years, and I also know her husband or ex-husband, and I hang out with them for a little bit. And then when she separated him, she reached out to me. We started talking, and we sort of clicked, and we started spending a lot of time together. And I knew what I was getting into, but now that I have more feelings for her, and sometimes I'm trying to talk to her how I feel about her, or how I feel her being in this situation and having, being married and all that, she shuts me down. And I feel like I can't really be honest.
What do you mean when you said talk to her about how you feel and her being married? Do you say, I'm having feelings for you, but you're married, so I shouldn't be dating you? And then she cuts the conversation off. Explain that to me.
Well, yeah. So every time, she's not open with me how she feels towards me, so I can't even bring that up.
She is or is not?
It's too soon. She's not. And when I tell her that I have
why is it when you say you're dating? I mean, is it clearly dating? Are you just neighbors sitting around talking? When you say dating, is it clear?
It is pretty clear to me. We're doing everything that dating people do. We go out camping, we go on trips together, and we had dinner together. And and that sort of thing.
Are you romantically involved in any way?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so you are dating, but you're dating a married woman.
She's actually at this point, at this exactly moment, she's in her court hearing and to finalize her divorce at this moment as we speak.
Okay, so you've been dating a married woman.
Yes.
Okay, and when you try to bring that up, she shuts down.
She shuts me down. She doesn't allow me to express how I feel. Sometimes I'll feel a little jealous, and I will ask her not to say certain things, and she said I don't have the right to do that, and she will
all right, I got it.
She will have this mechanism.
So what's the question?
Well, right now I feel very anxious because I don't know how.
You feel very what?
Where I stand. I don't know where I stand right now. Like I don't know how I should approach this relationship moving forward.
Okay, let me try to clear up some confusion here, if I can. When you say you don't know where you stand, might that better be said, I don't like where I stand? Because it's pretty clear where you stand.
Mm. That is true. And actually, I'm very clear how my feelings about her and where I want to go.
But you're also clear about where you stand with her.
What do you mean?
Well, you're in a relationship and she's texting him or FaceTime with him, and you say we're dating, and then I don't like it when you talk to or whatever, are you in that relationship or out of that relationship? And she won't talk about it and she shuts down. Where you stand with her is kind of in a very precarious place where she's kind of half in, non-communicative, sort of like hanging on to you, but hanging on to him. And it's not a very clear and fulfilling and honest and whole relationship. That's where you stand. That's what you've told me, right?
Yeah.
So, all right. So if that's where you stand, do you like that? No, you don't like it.
No, I don't.
Right.
But I also respect the fact that she's going through this, and I want to be there to give her the emotional support that she needs. At the same time, I want to make sure that we head in the same direction.
But that's not what emotional support does. See, emotional support is there for the other, but you're wanting, I'm not criticizing you for wanting a relationship, but it's more that you want to emotionally support her, but you also want her to be there in it with you, for you, and all of that. And that's a dual relationship. That they're almost opposing forces. And so what I want you to see, and I'm saying this, for you, not for her, is I want you to see that you are in a relationship that's not a complete, full relationship. It began as a part relationship. She was married, she's in pain, she medicates herself, it feels good to be with you. She's not alone, you're right next door, all of this. And it kind of like, if you look at her world, she's got this whole picture, right? She's got the angst, she's got the problems, but she's got the help. But if you look at your whole picture, you don't really have what you're in it for. You're not there as a missionary, right? You're not there just to emotionally support her, or you wouldn't have gotten involved with her romantically. You're there for other reasons. And so you're looking for a relationship and she's not giving you one. And so that's why I say it would be good if you figured out what you want and where you are, and then communicate to her, apparently, I don't like this.
Okay? So now, what is a healthy timeline for this? Because I just,
now hold on a second. Do you want to know that question? I mean, do you really want the answer to that? Because I'll tell you the healthy timeline. The healthy timeline, the healthy timeline is to say to her, you know what, we got involved at a wrong time. We screwed up the timeline. Okay. You were married, you weren't through with your divorce, you hadn't gone through divorce recovery, you hadn't healed, and we got in a relationship which very possibly could be rebound or even worse. We really jumped the gun here, and that's not good. So a healthy timeline, Susie, you go through your divorce, do your healing. You know me, I'm over here. Go see a good shrink, go to divorce recovery at a good church, work on these issues, and call me in a year. If you say what's a healthy timeline, Yes. You don't like a year?
Okay.
No,
it's just like it just I don't know. Like we find 95% of the time, and then is when sometimes I feel uncomfortable.
All right, then hold on. You didn't like the answer I gave you, right? Okay, so you're coming back. Say, wait, I don't have to do that. It's fine. Then be fine with it. But you're not fine with it. So you got to either realize if you're going to go in this timeline, you're going to have half of a relationship with somebody that's not even done with the other half, at least emotionally. She's got a lot of healing and stuff to do. And you're just going to have to be fine with that. But you can't have both. You can't say, I want a relationship with you in the proper way and do it in the way that's not proper. Those can't work.
Gotcha. Yeah, that makes total sense. So if I have some growing to do,
it's like I'd like to drive down the freeway and not have cars honking at me all the time. Okay, well then don't drive in the wrong lane in the opposite way, and they'll stop honking. See, we can't have both.
that makes total sense. It just, and I'm having a hard time, and then my ego is sick to me, and all these things that is triggered some reactions that she doesn't like, and sometimes the things that I say or do compromises my relationship with her because she doesn't want to be put under pressure.
It bothers the other cars when you honk at them driving down the wrong way, the freeway. They were listening to Ariana Grande on their radio, having a nice drive, and then you start honking at them. Well, we're going in the wrong direction. Of course we're going to be griping about it. Of course we're going to be triggering each other. We're on the wrong side of the freeway. We're trying to have a relationship in the midst of a broken relationship. How do you do that? So your recommendation. I'm not making a recommendation. I'm giving you some options. I can make a recommendation.
Okay, give me some options.
Do you want a recommendation? I can make you a totally worthless recommendation. How about this? I'll say it this way. If I were in your shoes, okay, I would say exactly what I said. Susie, you know what? We jumped the gun. You're really cool, but I can see, there's so much going on with you. When I ask for a real relationship with full like commitment and talking and things that people do when they work out struggles in this, you can't talk about it. You're going through too much. I'm wanting something you're not ready to give, apparently, and you got some stuff to do. So I might have heard this before. I would say to you, I think you would do well to maybe go get some counseling and work through some of the pain. Divorce is hard. I know your exes. This is difficult. Go join a good support group, good divorce recovery group. There's lots of them around. I don't want to do this anymore like this. And so I'm going to disappear. And when you think you're all done, we may or may not be here. Now, that's what I would do.
Wow. Wow, that's pretty cold, but I guess it makes
sense.
Cold? Yeah, it's basically you telling me like to say.
I just told a woman that I want to help her get healing. I want to help her get well. I want to help her recover from this and be on a clear path to a better life. How the hell is that cold? It might hurt a little bit, but it's not cold.
Well, she was needing that support, and I can't just turn around now and go on my own way and let her deal by herself because I do want to be there for her.
Okay, all right. Well, let me give you option 2 if you don't like that. By the way, she doesn't deal with herself. I sent her to counseling, right? I said all that. You're not going to be by yourself, Susie. You're just not going to be in a mixed up relationship, adding more pain to your life. Not talking about her being alone. All right, but let me give you option 2. Susie, you know what? We got to end this romantic part of our relationship because I don't think you're ready. At least I'm not getting from you what I need and what I want. And in a serious relationship. So we're just going to be friends and no kissy face anymore and none of that, but we're really going to be friends. And because I would like to be a support to you. And if you want to talk about your husband and process all of that, then I'm here for you. But we're not going to date anymore. Do you like that one better?
Yes, I do.
Okay, there you go.
And I feel like there's, can I just say maybe option number 3?
I knew it. All right. Tell me one I've never heard. Tell me one I've never heard. I can't wait for this.
Wait,
so,
then.
Hold on. I got to get it. All right. I got my. I'm going to write this down. Tell me how to drive down the freeway.
No. How about you tell me what I'm about to say?
Oh, I don't know what you're going to say.
Since I'm so predictive.
When I said I knew it, I knew there would be the wish for option 3. That's what I don't know what it is. I'm not clairvoyant, but I know you don't like either one of the first 2. Yeah, okay, I'll give you one option 3. You could keep doing what you're doing and be frustrated. There's an option. But you're going to give me option 4 now and tell me what that is.
Well, you see, like the way I see it, I feel like she's very smart and smarter than me, and she's very emotionally intelligent, and I think she knows how to handle herself.
Really? Come on. She's emotionally intelligent. When you ask her a question about a conflict in your relationship, she shuts down and won't talk to you?
No, she shuts me down.
Okay. Go to Goldman's research. Number 2 on emotional intelligence is the awareness of the emotions of other people and how to deal with them appropriately. So we're not going to call this emotional intelligence when you're shutting somebody down, which is why I've told you, I think you need to ask yourself, is this the way you want a relationship to work? But we're out of time. So I'm curious. I want to know this other option.
Well, so the option that I'm hoping for is that sometime in the near future, I'll sit down with her and just tell her how I feel and my intentions with her. And if she's interested, to keep moving forward with what we have going on.
Okay.
In a more solidified relationship.
Okay. Great. But that's what I said earlier, right? Is just tell her what you want. Tell her, I don't like the way it is now. I want something different. Mm-hmm. That's fine. You can try that. Good luck.
Thank you.
It may work. She may go, oh, never thought of that. Maybe. So I mean, it's very possible.
In your wisdom, how likely you think our relationship is gonna work?
Well, you got to define.
And I'm just
work.
not a rebound.
It's
just not gonna be a rebound or just
you have to define work. I mean, we just got off of a call with the woman that it's been working with this guy in a very dysfunctional way for a long time. Okay, no. But if you're asking, is it going to work, meaning that you have a functional relationship with her that's fulfilling? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, and actually, I'm 35 years old, and I'm done dating. I'm more into courting someone to like having more long-lasting, fulfilling relationship.
Right.
And
okay,
I sure hope that this is set.
Well, okay. I hope so too, if I can explain hope. We could have some, if we had some ham, we could have some ham and eggs if we had some eggs. Okay, that's hope. But do we have in the picture what it takes to have the hope? And so you're asking for my prediction. I'm not clairvoyant. I can't tell the future. I'm not a prophet. All right. But here's what I know. I do know that you've told me that right now, what you're saying you're hoping for, right now, she doesn't display the relationship skills with you to have the kind of relationship that you're hoping for. So is that possible? You asked for my guess. Let's call it a guess. It's 100% possible if the batteries got inserted, if she does some work and says, I'm going to learn how to talk to somebody and not shut them down. I'm going to learn how to process what I'm going through. I'm going to heal from that. If she does all of that work, anything is possible. If you're asking me, can you have the kind of relationship that you want if she doesn't make some healing and some changes going, before that? I don't know how that works. We're back to the wrong side of the road again. So yeah, it could work if she does the work, which is why I suggested way back in this conversation that you send her to do the work. And if you want to send her to do the work and say, I want to date you, but I want you, dealing with your divorce somewhere and getting over this. And I want us to relate differently. So when I tell you how you feel, you don't shut me down. More power to you if that works.
Yeah. So just for the record, she's going to counseling. She's been going to counseling for the past year and a half.
Okay. Well, I asked her to talk to her counselor about, what to do instead of shutting you down when you talk about your feelings. Okay.
Yeah.
You know what? I'd like to keep talking. We're over time here, and I've got to run. But thank you for putting up with me taking you down all the hypothetical scenarios in the universe. But I hope you do this. I'm gonna leave you one parting word. You look in the mirror and you ask yourself, is the way this relationship is going what I want? Or am I wanting something different than the way this is going? Because you are in it the way that it's going. So if you want it different, you must address that clearly and require it to be different, and only continue if and when it gets different. Otherwise, you will have what you have, and you need to look into the mirror and say, this is what I'm agreeing and signing up for, and I can't gripe about it. Okay? You can't have both.
Got it.
All right. Thank you for your
call. Thank you so much, Dr. Cloud. Have a good
one. Thank you. This is the Dr. Cloud Show. You know what? I kind of lost track of the time there because have y'all noticed that in so many scenarios, that we talk about, it kind of does it. You could almost sum it up in incompatible wishes. We've talked about that on the show before. Like, I want things that are incompatible. I want her, and I want somebody mature. Well, you got to pick one. Because you can't have both. You either want her or you want somebody mature. Well, I want her to be mature. Well, no, sorry, I'm not seeing that today. Well, then you got to do something to require that. Well, no, that's cold. Cold? How's that cold? Incompatible wishes. Sometimes we have to take a very clear look at reality and ask, do I like what I got here? If I don't, then let me do something to address it and fix it and make some requirements that it be different. Otherwise, back to feelings, I'm not paying attention to my feelings as a signal that I need to change something. Okay, guys, been fun to be with you. What time are we going to be here tomorrow? Did I check on that? I thought we had same time. I hope you're liking our new time. It's fun time, lunchtime for many of you. All the Pacifica. How do you say people that live in the Pacific time, like me? It's different time for us. Passive? We're not. I don't. Pacifist? No. We're not going to be pacifists. I'm hearing voices. All of us in the Pacific time zone. How's that? Hope you like it, guys. This time we're going to try this for a while and see how it works. If you like what we talk about on here and kind of the operating system behind it all, the principles, the psychological research, the empirical data, the evidence-based stuff that it comes from, the faith components, all of that, there's a whole world available to you on the website boundaries.me. Go to boundaries.me, sign up, become a subscriber, and you will go through a portal of many little courses on all sorts of stuff that we talk about here. So come join us there. Also, share the program with your friends. We're trying to continue to build the audience here. And let me say what I don't say to you as often as I need to or should, because of time mostly. I am so grateful to you, so many of you. And I'm going to take a second and talk about this. Some of the comments you put on, on Facebook, some of the other platforms about that the work has been helpful to you, over the years. Thank you. It really means a lot to me to hear if anything has been helpful. And I really appreciate that. Thank you. Secondly, I appreciate the way that you've joined us in this little experiment here we're doing with this show and building this community together of encouraging one another. I love how you do that with each other there. I want to thank you for that. And thirdly, I really want to thank our callers. You take enormous risks. I mean, you put yourself out there. Just this morning, I mean, we get to laugh with each other about our lives, right? We all do goofy stuff, but you put it out there and the callers, you really do make it work. And so I want to thank you for that. And just want to share that. Love you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.